good. I feel good. At the end, I was like, hold on. You don't want me to come?
The internet is ablaze right now due to a freshly released recording that purportedly revealed Remy Ma's adultery. And believe me, it's as crazy as you can imagine. Her husband, Papoose, who has been there for her through everything, appears disgusted by the whole situation. Their once perfect love tale is now unraveling. Despite Remy's best efforts to fix the damage and improve the situation, it feels like chaos is growing every second. As the drama unfolds, it's obvious that things are getting out of control. Before we start, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on more videos like this one. Much criticism has been generated by Remy's actions. This is a major shock to admirers who thought their bond would be extremely strong. It is important to remember that sometimes a detailed discussion of the matter is not enough. Sometimes you can't find a middle ground, even if you say everything you need to, and that doesn't result in a solution. Reactions, and let's face it, verbal communication isn't always sufficient. And things keep getting worse. Now let's talk about the chaos that surrounds Remy Ma and Papoose. They appeared to be meant to be together, and their relationship was based on love and commitment. They used to be the most powerful duo in the hip-hop industry. But now that there are rumors that Remy has made some decisions that have strained their connection, things seem to be different. The problem is that every relationship has its ups and downs. However, even casual fans couldn't help but notice when Remy and Pap's crack was made public on Father's Day 2022. Remy would often be all over social media praising Papoose as the greatest husband and father ever. But that year there were none. No adorable captions, absolutely nothing. That's not Remy's feeling, you know? After then, Papoose did something that left many people wondering how they would get over it. But instead of castles and imagination, there were rap bouts, beats, and visits to prisons. Amazing battle. Dro, whose last name she shared with Papo, was remembering Mackie on the blockchain, and now she was remembering Smith. Get it right. Just serious. Joe was present at a recent dinner honoring a deceased person. I can't recall what it was exactly after Fat insisted that I be placed in jail. I know they still do the family thing. He said that he claimed to have lost weight, but I don't see how he's still the same size. And he doesn't comprehend how I was able to platform the side. For some reason, he is incarcerated. Remy Ma is actually Remenez Smith, who was born on May 30th, 1980, in the Castle Hill ghetto of the Bronx. But her life was challenging because she had to care for her younger siblings while balancing her family's addiction issues. Rather, she turned to poetry as a coping mechanism for her difficult situation. Soon after, the late Big Pun saw her promise, mentored her, and assisted her in launching her career. She immediately rose to fame after appearing on his album, Ya Baby, in 2000. To put it mildly, you should binge-watch her epic relationship with Papoose on Netflix. They married in February 2016, after starting their journey in 2007. On July 13th, Remy took things seriously by changing into the beach, each other, cheating on the ball, etc. Regardless, let's say that hip-hop and love pick it up, and you all get back together. How is it at the moment? Since I'm the man who's now around and I'm such a cheat, I get a small bag, a little CH, a cute little U. Get the idea? I'm a little too at ease. I ought to have been in New York at R. I will acknowledge that I should have been on, and that I would have done this appropriately when everyone thought the police were investigating a shooting outside of Manhattan, Delhi, where Makita Barnes. Joseph said Remy had shot her after an altercation over $3,000 that had allegedly gone missing. To make matters more complicated, the CCTV footage from the club showed that there had been no fight or altercation prior to Makita Barnes Joseph being shot in the torso. However, Barnes Joseph was keen to blame Remy, and suddenly a full-fledged DAJ case was underway. Remy Ma entered a not guilty plea in answer to the attempted murder and criminal charges. Things got heated when the judge accused Remy of searching through Barnes Joseph's luggage for the missing $3,000 as he was bleeding down in the car. However, she ran out of luck and was found guilty in March 2008 of unlawfully possessing a weapon and attempting to coerce someone. The consequences were severe. After Barnes Joseph ran away in a getaway car, she sued Remy for $80 million and required several surgeries. Remy was sentenced to 8 years in jail and released in August. After serving 6 years at Bedford Hills Correctional Facility, by this point in 2014, most men in the music business would have departed. But Papoose has remained by Remy's side, demonstrating what it truly means to be a ride or die. He showed up every day and on every visit during the first year when I was just relaxing. You get visited every day while you're playing, and on weekends it switches between Saturday and Sunday. Hence, in actuality, the "I'm good, all right," he said, and I guess he thought that was true. "All right, cool," I replied, although Papoose seemed to think he hadn't when he saw how well Remy was doing in prison. I was rushing up there every day because it takes 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic, elevated the standard to a completely new plane. He proposed to her while she was still incarcerated. A prison isn't the most romantic setting, of course, but if love is real, it will find you no matter where you are. Remy and Papoose had intended to get married in a low-key jail ceremony in 2008, which is proof of their intimate friendship. Even the prison walls couldn't break it, but when Peepo tried to call off the wedding, everything went completely wrong. To use a skeleton key to get inside and witness her well-known move. But what was he thinking? The wedding had to be rescheduled. As a result, Stu Papoose was prohibited from visiting for 6 months. However, true love never goes away. And in every interview and public appearance, Papoose made sure that everyone knew she was his queen. Even when Remy was unable to perform or be by his side. It is your responsibility to respect it, even though I am grateful that you share my viewpoint. Hey, listen up. In a culture where well-known romances end before marriage, you can lead a contented life as a wife. If she disagrees, he must unquestionably consider it before continuing, since he has a duty to respect his queen. Remy's mother was nicknamed Papoose by Blink users, who saw her as the epitome of true, unconditional love. If you think Papoose was jealous of Remy's relationships with other guys, you should think again. Her job was a job, and he made that very plain. He had total faith in her and knew she would always be there for him. Yes, it's only a job. All it is an office. I would never be insecure about that, unlike you. The issue is that at this point, everyone is doing honorably, fulfilling their obligations and continuing to move on without experiencing Prince. You can be sure that she will always treat you with respect. Well, let's go ahead to 2014. After years of incarceration, Remy finally left the institution. But who was there to greet her? Papoose was waiting for her to arrive with his arms outstretched, since they centered on getting married in February 2016, beginning over and reintegrating with their family. A few years later, in 2018, their fans were overjoyed with the birth of their daughter, Remnant. We had the impression that we were watching a real-life redemption story unfold. Remy quickly got back to business, even starting a clothing line and giving the proceeds to the Remnant Foundation. But let's face it, since she got out of jail, her life hasn't been drama-free. For example, Remy turned herself in May 2019 after her co-star in Ling Hip Hop, Brittany Taylor, accused her of assault. Even though the story created a sensation, the charges were dropped by December because there was not enough proof. He posted a Father's Day greeting to himself. You read correctly, along with a picture of himself, and she won another battle. The caption was brief but powerful, and since family is important, followers immediately realized something wasn't quite right. In the comment area, a lot of people asked the same question. Where's Remy? Some even ridiculed their relationship, claiming that Remy was never in love while Papoose was deeply in love. Kids, can you guess who wasn't in the picture? Remy and Papoose's silence, which just fanned the flames, didn't help either. Remy Ma commented, Come on, Jasmine, I never cheated on anybody, so I don't know what y'all are talking about one more time, in response to rumors that began to surface over the reason behind their chilly relationship. Even though I heard from a very reliable source that Papoose and this guy got into a really nasty scenario, where he nearly knocked out the teeth that should have fallen out and they were falling out on this guy. Remy got him mended and he entered the block without any issues. Well, at least she made a statement, which she clearly did. And she stated that she most likely left before the infidelity began. Rumor had it that Remy had cheated on her with Easy, and Papo was cool. Like industry pals who lived in the same circles. I feel deceived if the cheating rumors are accurate. How could Remy harm the man who has supported her for so long? It was believed that Remy and Papoose were the hip-hop couple, the ride-or-die pair who came out after overcoming all obstacles together. Strong. But the idea that she would have risked everything for someone like Easy S. People were making fun of this whole situation, Wilder, to make it worse. It's just because it's like, how is that going to work? How is it? There's a snippet of audio that has been making the rounds where someone who sounds like Easy spills all the tea and reveals what actually happened. Leaving for work and then saying, even if you return with the ball, which is fine, I'll come out and explain everything that happened. You were with each other. You were cheating on a boy and so on, according to the insider. So whatever happens, let's say Loving Hip Hop picks it up, you all get back together and everything that happened. Pap's 46th birthday dinner at Brooklyn Chop House in New York City felt more like an unpleasant professional function than a power couple get-together. Additionally, Remy's body language conveyed to the internet that she wasn't very thrilled to be there. 4 followers observed something very significant on July 17, 2012. Remy quietly disclosed Papa's last name and she was still identified as Remy Mackie from her previous song, the Ghetto and Ratchet remix with Connie Diamond, in the credits of her new song, Fat Joe, Out of Control. Fans quickly became aware of the subtle alteration and Remy's reputation abruptly suffered. What else could be an indication that she's moving on? Hit as a businesswoman and wife, and people began to wonder if they could rely on her as Fuzzy. He tried to remain calm, but the scandal overshadowed everything he was doing, which hurt his job as well. However, Remy finally had enough and discovered that deal after over a year of rumors, ending the situation by October 7th, just as things seemed to be resolved with TROC. Although it's boring and lonely, I can see why he's online. When Dante TROC stirred the situation by posting on X that Ninja had a girlfriend at home with her husband this week, Remy quickly hit back asking, "What's up, Remen? Kazia's married girlfriend is spending today with her husband. I'm unhappy with the block captain, Bard. Do you know him?" Remy reminded everyone that she was the clapback queen and recalled her well-known comeback. TROC escalated the argument by sharing screenshots of Remy bringing up Papoose, who clarified that he wasn't being disrespectful by requesting that she'd calm down and check. Papu, on the other hand, leveled up in silence and stayed composed. The juicy part is here. Word began to circulate that Papoose had moved on. People were particularly pleased to see him move on after everything that had happened to him. He apparently dated a younger professional boxer named Clarissa Shields. The fact that she was purportedly pregnant was even more startling. What about the conflict? Clarissa had an amazing knockout. Fire killed her. I knew she would blow up, but I expected it to be the first. But the primary issue was that Remy wasn't feeling well. Rumor has it that Remy, without even daring to throw hands, has been sending suspicious messages to Papoose's new girlfriend's direct message system. But let's face it, Remy Ma, who has long been seen as a tough comeback queen in the hip-hop industry, is currently dealing with some serious issues as a result of those cheating rumors, have significantly impacted her career. Whereas she was formerly commended for her tenacity and devotion, it appears that she is now the target of jokes and gossip blogs. Furthermore, hip-hop culture isn't always empathetic. particularly toward women. In addition to everything else, her kid is dealing with some major legal issues, which presents her with many more difficulties now that Papoose is not at her side. Papoose is deserving of being called the king of loyalty because he is now thriving and focusing on his own growth after prioritizing Remy for so long. Remy wants him back, but as Remy Ma's life seems to be falling apart, it's difficult to watch someone who once had it all struggle with these personal and professional problems. It's evident that things have changed, but it's uncertain what easy the block captain's future in fight rap will bring. The commotion around him brought him some exposure, but was it worth it? The rap industry may not be sustainable as a result of scandals like this one. Now he has to determine whether he can get past all of this and continue playing the game. What do you think? Is this really the end for Remy and Papoose? Or is there any chance they could reconcile, recuperate from this circumstance? Or has her career suffered too much harm? Leave a comment below, as I would be interested in knowing what you think. That concludes today's activities for everyone. To remain informed about the most recent rumors and popular topics, don't forget for the subscribe button to be pushed and ring. To ensure that you don't ignore the warning, are there any recent videos that are similar to this one?